folks, welcome back to Street Rust. You guys know this car, you're getting to know it pretty well. Got to lock down a name. I've been thinking about Theos, strong like God, big and strong. But let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about a name for this car. Kind of becoming the channel car. We're waiting on a radiator. I went ahead and ordered a aluminum radiator. It's a 3-part. And I'm waiting on it. It's a Saturday. It won't be here till later this week on Wednesday. So, like I said, you guys know this car really well. But let me show you a truck that you don't know very well. Take a look at this little beauty right here. This good-looking 1979 Chevy Luv. This little truck belongs to a good friend of mine, him and his wife, and they just purchased it, and they are wanting to make this a daily driver. They had a little bit of mechanical work. Man, this thing is just like clean. Okay, beautiful, and they want this to be a daily driver. So what we're going to do, we are going to pull this in the garage and spend a couple hours just kind of giving it a basic tune-up. We'll probably give it a little bit of that Italian tune-up. We'll check the points, we'll check the timing, we'll check the plugs. I know for a fact that it's going to need some vacuum lines. Went and bought some of that today. Runs a little rough, and when they accelerate, loses a little power. But when I looked at it, when they brought it over last night, I immediately saw there were some vacuum lines that were loose. There's a lot of vacuum lines under here, but it was loose, and the reason it's loose is because they're just old and dried out. So I went and got some new vacuum line. We'll be doing that, get everything sealed up. Carb seems to be in pretty good shape. I think it's a vacuum issue, not a carb issue. So we'll take a look at it. I'm going to get this pulled in the garage, then I'm going to go mow the grass, so when it gets dark later, we can dig into this thing. So we'll see you guys in just a couple hours. For y'all, just a couple seconds. Okay, we're back. It's late. It's always late. I'm always doing this when it's late. Got other things to do. Got chores to do and responsibilities. And anyway, we're going to dig into this. This is a operating vehicle. It's just running a little rough, not running great. First of all, I want to check the spark plug gap. I want to check the timing. I want to check the point gap, and we'll look at the idle adjustment. This is a 1979 Chevrolet Luv. Therefore, it is a Series 9 engine, and it does have the manual distributor. The problem with this Haynes, and this is why I normally go with the shop manual, but I didn't do it. I got this Haynes, picked it up online. It has a lot of information on Series 5, 6, and it tells you Series, I don't know, 7 through 12, I think it was. Go to this appendix, some supplementary information. Doesn't have any of the data. For a Series 9, it does not have any of the specifications in here. So, kind of useless for that. Ooh, that's loose. We need to look at that. Anyway, so I got online and did some research and validated it. And also decoded the VIN, so I know exactly what I have here. This is a 1979 Chevrolet light duty. It's got an engine, the gross vehicle weight, it's a 1/2 ton, it's a pickup, it's a Series 9, as I alluded to. It was made in Japan by Isuzu, the Fujisawa plant in Japan, and then the sequence number's 37286. I would imagine that's 37,286. Anyway, so we got our specs. We're going to start checking things out. So before I do that, I wanted you to see me take this off because actually I want to bring the camera over here and show you something first. Let me do that. So we know how important vacuum is. And I do have the battery disconnected here, and I've got the distributor cap off. We'll talk about that in a minute. We know how important vacuum is, and there is just vacuum lines galore on this thing. You know, all the emissions. You can see the smog pumps not connected right there. That's no big surprise. Most people do that. Anyway, if you look down here, you'll see that that is not even connected. It is not connected down there. So we have a vacuum leak there. We fixed a vacuum leak here, but I went and got some vacuum tubing so that we can replace all this, well, the majority of this vacuum tubing. So let me get you back on the stand over here, and we're going to go ahead and take this air cleaner off. And see what we got. You know, when I was talking to the owner of this vehicle, they were talking about it hesitating when they tried to accelerate. Of course, you automatically start thinking about accelerator pump. You want to start jumping into the carburetor. But when I saw this vacuum stuff and I heard it set there in idle, and it would rev up a little bit when it's not in drive, I think we're in pretty good shape. Everything does look to be metric. I have not had this off yet. This is just, this has got to come off for us to look at everything. So let's get it loosened up. And this is a 12 millimeter. It is metric. No big surprise there. Okay. Let's go ahead and okay, we got a plate there, and do we have more than one bolt here? Never have I worked on a Chevrolet Isuzu 1.8 liter. Yeah, so this thing is still on here. I don't want to lose track of where these go. So I'm missing something here. All right, looks like I'm gonna have to dig into this. Be right back. Let me research this. Okay, actually, pretty cool concept. You've got your air intake, some smog stuff, all that kind of stuff. There's a vacuum line here. Got that off, but here is how cool this is. Look at this. This has a seal here, and it has a clamp. You can see that clamp. You tighten it and you loosen it, and this comes right off. So got that off. We'll get that out of the way. Okay, I'm gonna get you over here. Got to get you in here. Let's see. I am gonna put these back where they were. Exactly, because that one's got a rubber grommet on it. This one holds on. Looks like got some idle stuff going on there. Hey, take a look at that carburetor. Looks pretty good. I don't even know where the pump is here. There we go. Yeah, there's at the choke. That would be the accelerator pump right there. Anyway, that looks great in there. I just don't think we have any issues there. I'm not going to mess with that. So here's what we're going to do. First, let's go to the points. Let me get some light down in here. I took a look at the points. Now remember, some of you out there, you may be experts on this. I just have never, ever, and there it is. It's upside down, but a Isuzu engine in a 1979 Chevrolet Luv. I had no idea. So it's a 1.8. Amazingly, the compression was 8.2 to 1, I think I read, and I think the max horsepower is about 75 horsepower. So not surprising there. So let's go ahead and look at these points. The spec that I looked up was down here. The points, the range was 0.016 to 0.022. I have got let's see. I have got this, you can see down here, I've got it on the highest point of the distributor on that nub right there, and the points are open. Points look to be in decent shape. It's running, so I'm not going to mess with that, but 0.016, it's in there, no problem whatsoever. Okay, and I also went up to like 0.019 and it fits. So I don't think there's any issues with the points. So I really think it's vacuum. I honestly do. So, but before we do that, I want to go ahead and pull the plugs out. So let's pop over here, because as you know, the plugs can tell us a lot. So let's go ahead and pull these. Tell you what, let me pull these plugs out. I'll lay them out and we'll come back and look at it. Okay, here's the spark plugs. You can see number 1, little oil on there. Number 2 looks good. Number 3 looks pretty dang good. And number 4, little oil in a little better shape than 1. So we're seeing some oil in 1 and 4. Now, let's take a look at the mileage. First of all, this vehicle is showing 34,215. And if we look at the pedals, now here's your brake pedal and there is your gas pedal. They look to be OEM. You can see a little bit of wear on the right hand side, but on the brake pedal, but not on the gas. So the question is this 34,000 miles or is it 134,000 miles? But either way, I mean, if somebody told me that this was 34,000 miles, I would probably believe it, just because I know what the undercarriage looks like and everything is in such good shape. But it's been setting. It was bought out of an estate, an elderly couple, the children sold it, a mechanic bought it, and then further sold it to my friends, and this older couple, they were the original owners of this vehicle. So anyway, leads me to believe that this thing probably just needs to be drove. And these spark plugs are in pretty good shape. We're not going to replace them. I do see that the little metal ring is missing on that one. I'll see if I have one of those and we'll pop that on there. But we're going to clean these up and stick them back in. And we are going to give it in the carb over here, when we get this thing running again, we're going to change. Okay, let me stop. Let me back up a second. I'm going to get these spark plugs cleaned. I'm going to get back with you, show them to you here real quick. As far as the gap, I did check. 0.035 is what these are supposed to be at. And they're spot on. There's a little bit of a drag there. Well, that's a lot of a drag, but trust me, I took them out and they're gapped perfectly, to be honest with you. They all looked really good. So we'll get these cleaned up. I'll get back with you. We'll get them put back in. We will get the distributor put back together. I'm going to clean the brake terminals. Oh my gosh, it's late. The battery terminals. We'll check the timing. And actually before that, we're going to replace some of the vacuum lines through here. And then we'll check the timing once we get those vacuum lines replaced. And then we'll give it a little bit of the Italian tune-up and we'll wrap it up. So we're just kind of going over this basic, not even a tune. We're just checking everything over. They're just going to put around in town in it as a daily driver. The radiator, obviously some concern about this, but they're just going to have to get out and run it. I don't know if that's just overflowed and it's just years on that brass has corroded. I actually took the cap off. Here, let's take the cap off real quick. Got nothing to do, right? Yeah, let me get rid of that. Of course, it looked really good in there. Cap is very tight. You can see down there, that's what we would expect to see. Okay, everything looks okay in there, and there's no obvious leaks. He drove it over here. and there were no obvious leaks or anything of that nature. So, and I'll tell you what, I've looked everywhere, Rock Auto Parts Geeks, a bunch of other classics, even AutoZone, O'Reilly's, Advanced Auto Parts. Nobody has that. I didn't even see a used one on eBay. So that may be a rebuilder right there if there's ever a problem with it. So I'll get these plugs cleaned up, be right back. Okay, let's see these plugs. All look to be cleaned and as best as they're gonna get. I'll get those back in and then we'll get on to the vacuum line. Okay. I only got 3 feet of vacuum line. Thought that would be enough. Of course, when you take the air cleaner off, you see all of this massive web. So we're definitely I'm gonna hit the problem areas first. And this one that was missing down below here is actually right here. You can see that it's dry and split. This tool that I have is used for cutting PEX and it works great for this. So what I'm going to do, being that this is only dry up here, I'm going to go ahead and we got a little bit of slack. I'm going to cut this off. Whoop, just off, and you can see it's pretty fresh and clean right there. So we'll get that piece on. I replaced the piece that was, we got a little slack there. Gonna make sure it fits. Oh yeah. Okay, all right, I'll get you in here so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so this piece down here is the piece that I just cut off and reconnected. It comes up through here and goes to something over here. Don't know what that is. Anyway, it's good. We got slack. What I'm going to do now, and you can see just as I was messing in here, another piece came disconnected. This stuff is just so dry and split and rotted. I'm going to replace all these small pieces. Not going to bore you with that. Let me get that part done and I'll show you what I got and then we'll move on from there. Okay, believe it or not, I used 3 feet of vacuum line and didn't have enough to do everything, but I got the critical points. And also on some of these pieces that were split on the end, I just nipped off about 1/4 of an inch and it got down to good material. And this hooks to the air breather. So I'm gonna get you set up here and we are gonna get this put back on. There you go. So, all right, so connections. Let's see. Let's get these bolts out of the way. This one goes on that side. This one goes on this side. Okay. Make sure we get all these connections. We have got this one, probably most importantly, because it's up underneath here. That's a vacuum. And that's fitting on there nice and snug now. Okay, got that one. And that was it there. Get this rubber seal on here. Get that seated down real good. Get our 12mm bolts back in here. I'm going to zip these down before I tighten this up. Make sure we're seated real well there. Looks pretty good. All right. These tighten down. Okay, that's all on. Now, let me get this out of the way. And let's tighten this up. That's pretty cool, this clamp on here. I like that. And that is on. And then this goes back on. You know, there's enough slack there. You see how the end of that's all boogered up? There's plenty of slack there. Let's get this clamp back out of the way for a minute. And we're just going to take this cutter and cut off about 1/4 of an inch, thereabout. I want to keep that piece for the owner. And let's take a good look at that. You can see how that's cracked. And in fact, the whole thing is just cracking apart. But now you can see we've got some good rubber in here. So we'll get that put back on. Get everything tightened up. Okay. Get this clamp back on. Good. Okay. All right. So we got that now. This goes on here. Okay. We got everything there. All that's connected. We got, looks like some cold air intake. This is smog, but nonetheless, it's got to go back on. Okay. Come on. Come on. Simplest thing I've done all night, and we're making it difficult. There we go. Okay, that's on. And then this bad boy right here goes on there. Okay. All of that is good to go. I'm going to leave this off. It's pretty good in there. Yes, I'm going to leave that off. And we are going to go ahead and check the timing. I'll get that set up. Then the last thing we'll do is we'll just give it a little bit of that Italian tune-up. And call it a night. Anyway, see you shortly. Be right back. Okay, let's talk timing. Hopefully you can see that all the way down in there. Okay, so there's 3 marks, 3 lines. If you look at the top of the screen, you have 1 line, middle line, and the bottom line. The middle line, and it says before, it's very difficult to see. I had to spray some brake cleaner and clean it down there. But anyway, the middle line is about 6. And if you can see the notch on the pulley, that's where it should be. Now the weird thing is you're going to see it almost looks like somebody put some white out as a mark, but that's clearly the mark right there on the pulley. When I start this up, you'll see a little white spot that looks like it's on 6. Actually, I think this is probably advanced a little too much. So let's take a look. That's all we can do. Let's get this light going. Let me get it out of the way. And we've got it on spark plug number 1. No doubt about that. And let's go crank this bit. Now I'm telling you, the starter on this thing, it pops. It starts right now. And you're gonna hear the fuel pump. That's another issue. It's up underneath. Hear that fuel pump? Woo! All right, here we go. Oh, I took the coil wire off. took the coil wire off when I had my hands down there. Also, I've got the vacuum advance disconnected and plugged. All right, give this another whirl. Here we go. All right. Running pretty smooth. Okay. Now, obviously I'm not going to stick my camera down in there, but that sure looks to me like it's on way too much. So I went ahead and loosened. We want to get that up towards the middle mark. I mean, it's way advanced. So I'm going to throw gloves because I don't want to get zapped. Let's see, I gotta, oh, that's the wrong one. I know it's only 12 volts, but it's still a jolt. So, tell you what, I'm gonna set the camera up here for just a minute. I'm gonna get it where I think I want it. And then okay, you guys take a look. Now, if you can see it down in there, we've got that notch right on that center mark, which is 6 degrees before top dead center. According to my research, that's where it's supposed to be. And tell you what, yeah, I almost stuck my hand down in there to lock down that nut. Look at there, there's the fan blade. Anyway. Idling good, very responsive. So let me get that locked down and then we'll give it a little Italian tune-up and see where we're at. You know what, before we do this, we got to start it. But hey, let me give you credit where credit's due, because I did not trademark the term Italian tune-up, and where I heard it was from Derek on Vice Grip Garage, so I'm going to give all credit to him. So here's what we're going to do. This is a 4-cylinder, not a V8, so I'm going to use about half of this. I'm going to start the engine, make sure it's idling, and I'm just going to kind of dump it down there. Let's get it started. All right. That may bog down a little bit. Got a little safety seal on here. Doesn't work. Too late for this one, though. There we go. All right. Put too much. Hit both barrels at one time. I flooded. Gas pedal down. Okay, that's about half the can, so we're gonna call it good there. Let's go ahead and put this filter back on. Don't know if it's OEM or not, but it works. I bet that's close. So I got it laying there. What do we do? All right. Very responsive. All right, let me turn this off. Okay, so we're gonna call it a night. It's pretty late. You know what? Let's look at the tailpipe. Let's start this up and look at the tailpipe real quick. See what we got coming out of the tailpipe here. I don't even know where the tailpipe is. Oh, it's on the other side. There we go. Yep. Looks pretty clean. Looks pretty clean. All right, good deal. So we're gonna call it a night for tonight. I don't even know what time it is. It's late. Got church in the morning. Woo! It's 2 o'clock. So good news is I'm already prepared. So and I enjoy doing this. It's just a ton of fun for me. So being that it's 2 o'clock in the morning, we're not going to go test drive this. There's no need to get the local constable all riled up and everything. So let's tomorrow after church, matter of fact, the owner will be here. Maybe we can get with him and take it for a spin and see what we got. See if he feels like he's getting all 75 horsepower now when he accelerates. So thank y'all for watching. It's not over. Get back with you tomorrow, and we'll take this thing for a test run and wrap it up. Have a good night. Okay, we are pulling this out of the garage, and we're gonna let Nathan and his wife go give it a shot and see. We got a lot of cars. We're having a little 4th of July shindig today, so there's gonna be a lot of cars around here. But that's why I stayed up late and got this done last night. Give it some beans, man. All right, we'll catch up with them when they get back. See how it, see if they got their all 75 horsepower back. Okay, folks, we got the thumbs up. They test drove it. It's not stalling. It's not dying. Well, look at all this. So it's time for me to wrap this up. We've got, like I said, we got a big shindig going on today. So listen, this was just a quick little video on this. It was on this Chevy Luv. It was an honor and a privilege for them to allow me to work on it. And I think the main problem we saw was the timing was off. But why was the timing off? The previous mechanic could have set it correctly, but with so many vacuum line issues, even with the advanced unplugged, I would imagine that the car, it just wasn't running at the correct idle with all the vacuum leaks. So we got that fixed. We got idling where it was supposed to be, about 900 RPM. We adjusted the timing, cleaned the spark plugs, you know, everything else was good, and now it's running like a champ. So thank y'all for watching, and lots more coming on the Chrysler, okay? And y'all be blessed. Thank you.